Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, see kind of what's going on, of course, and obviously help understand what led to this increase, or just more importantly, where it's going to go next, right? So if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, just love teaching people how to trade. I hope you can learn something here today, of course. And obviously, if you do, consider joining my Trading Academy. I have a trading community where we actually all learn and grow together. It's an amazing experience. And we were talking just yesterday what's going to happen potentially today. I can tell you what, we weren't expecting such a significant increase, but I can also tell you that we took some decent profits on a leverage position from 38,000 all the way up to about 41. So really cool stuff there. Anyways, check that out in your own time. CryptoCache.tech is the website. Link in the description below. Taking a look here at Bitcoin though. First and foremost, we're at 42,160 at this present time. So definitely good stuff. We have about an 8% day here, and it just kind of recovered quickly. Now, we can try to find out what happened, but more importantly, I think it's best to look at what could happen next. Based on the current Fibonacci retracement levels, we can see that we got some resistances coming up here. The price kind of got rejected out tentatively right around 42.2. Okay. Now, that's not an official one, of course. We look back in the past, it hasn't really been an area of contention, but it could create itself as a resistance here soon. We'll pay attention to that, of course. But the more important key indicator, I think, is that 44,500 has been the strongest resistance we've seen both in February 9th, 10th, 15th and 16th, 17th and 2nd and 1st of March. I'm sorry, the dates are terrible, but generally speaking, we can see quite a few times where it's tried to hit that level and can't break through. Obviously, it's broken above, but it doesn't close above on the one-day candlestick. That's important. That's why we always use the one day for significant support and resistance levels. Now we're up over a previous significant level of 41,500. So closing above 41.5 today, I think would be extremely important. We can get close above 41.5. We'll be in pretty darn good shape, I feel, to effectively be able to continue back to the upside. Now, I anticipate this is going to happen, of course, not obviously this significant, but we are continuing on this trend, and this trend is essentially our friend, right? So the fact that we have what, 35,000 here, 37,000 here, and then right here at this point it was pretty much 38,000. So it keeps stepping up higher as we get further on. So that's just kind of moving concurrent with typical moving averages, and we're looking very good in that sense here for Bitcoin. We're back up over the 50-day SMA. Excuse me. All right, so all good stuff there in that sense from Bitcoin. Let's look at some of the normal stuff. We're looking at up over 50 on the RSI, back on track. That's extremely important. That should effectively work as a support level. Granted, we closed above 40,000, 41,500, which seems pretty likely at this point. Once again, I don't see a lot of selling pressure just yet. We have a MACD convergence on the one day as well, which tells us we should expect a continuation to the upside. Okay. So literally all signs point north here for Bitcoin. So it's definitely looking really good in that regard, and I think it'll probably just continue to increase. I don't think we should expect to see a major significant correction. There's been no previous resistance at this level, and I think that there's no reason for it to want to turn around pending no crazy nonsense with the news. And keep in mind here today, there is an announcement from Biden, of course, regarding regulation for cryptocurrency. So we want to be on the lookout for that. But a lot of folks speculate, and I would kind of agree that it's already baked in, and that was probably what caused a lot of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt in this last recent past here, where the price took a little while to recover. Now, granted, you could argue the fact that it took a while to recover because it came down so significantly. There's that too. But simply put, news today could impact the general market here at this point. We do see a doji candle forming here as well in the 4 hour. Granted, this is just what this started about. Actually, we're about 3.5 hours in this candlestick, so that could imply we might see a potential turnaround or just a slowdown in momentum to consolidate the next closest support, 41.5 or 41,200. Both are equally as strong. Okay, so that's a good strong little channel range there, 41.2 to 41.5. Kind of hold above there. I think we're going to be just fine. All right. So, taking a look here at the 4 hour, we can see the moving averages. I think we're back up above those, which is fantastic. Those are going to work as potential supports now moving forward. Looking at the 4 hour RSI, we're under 70, which is great. Give it a chance to calm down. Hopefully it goes sideways for another 24 hours and legs up again. That'd be perfect. But we need to have some kind of consolidation here because that was a pretty significant increase. I don't foresee the price coming down, but coming up immediately may not happen because it does look like it's getting slightly exhausted, and you could argue the fact that looking at TD sequential, we're at an 8. We only got maybe one more 4 hour candlestick before the price comes back down. Again, Shouldn't come back down significantly, but a natural correction would make sense. Even if it comes down to 40,000, it wouldn't be dire straits. But I do think that 41,300, or sorry, 41.2/41.5, that range right there, this little channel, will effectively hold as a support. I'm confident of that. So again, that's kind of where we're at there, but just expect the price to maybe go sideways for a little bit longer, calm down, which is fine because then the Bitcoin dominance can recede and the altcoin dominance can increase. Okay, we can get more money coming into altcoins. That's ultimately what we want as well, of course, for everything else that we're holding, because you shouldn't just have Bitcoin only. You should always try to have some altcoins as well. If nothing else, at least the top 10, 25, or 100. All right, so that's kind of where we're at for the 4 hour, looking really good. We had a MACD convergence as well yesterday, which is why I felt confident taking our position last night, because we had two things. We had a MACD convergence previously, and we also had an Ichimoku breakthrough, or broke above the cloud. And let me explain what I mean by that. And this is kind of what led me to take the position that we took yesterday. So take a look here at the Ichimoku cloud. It was basically right here. In other words, we took entry right at this point. So pretty much right as soon as the price is coming down. Unfortunately, it came down a couple hundred. But we took entry right here. And then the price continued to take off. And then we hit all three profit targets pretty much right in this range. Now, the reason why that happened, though, and the simple way to kind of address that is we had a MACD convergence in the 4 hour. And then we also had the price break above the cloud. So the price held above the cloud here consistently the entire time. It did before as well, but it kind of tested and came back down. But once we had confirmation it was basically holding above the cloud a second time, that gave me the confidence to want to take that position. So again, mostly what I did last night was an Ichimoku cloud play, as well as just confirming that we're above the 4 hour MACD convergence, or the 12 is intersecting the 26 in upward fashion. Those are the two things that I use. Obviously, big picture too, we were overexhausted up to the downside. We had, it's just a matter of time before the price comes back up. A lot of little factors, swinging in there, but I would say ultimately getting all three indications that the lagging span was free and clear of any price action. We were basically closing above the cloud for more than 2 hours, as well as the fact that the conversion line was above the baseline. Okay, so again, if you're a community member, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. That is essentially, the reason for that. In fact, I sent out a heads up before I took the signal that is essentially what we're looking at. But I wanted you to know too, in case you're curious, hey, how did you catch this breakout? Well, I mean, part of it is the fact that it's, I wouldn't say luck, but it's definitely like I wouldn't expect it to go up to 42,000, 8% in only 3 or 4 hours. But we were poised and ready to go because we paid attention to the signals, and there's different signs that you can look for, and that's kind of what we're looking for there. But to touch on that as well, Ichimoku Cloud does tell us we want to keep our position open. It is very overextended though, so just keep that in mind. The likelihood of a pullback in the immediate future is quite high, and what I mean by that, again, just down to 41.5, 41.2, and a bounce back to the upside. So I just say continue to add to your position here. It's not a terrible place to add. I do foresee Bitcoin still continuing back up to at least test 45 or 44,500, 46,000, that range there, and potentially and more likely than not breaking it here. In fact, I sent out a tweet a couple days ago, kind of foreshadowing that because you can only test a resistance so many times. All right, so if we take a look at the 1 day chart, you can kind of see here that we have had multiple tests consistently. Even back here it tested too. And you can tell that it's having difficulty breaking that. But if you continue to push the upside along with an ascending type of wedge pattern that we're seeing here, it's inevitable for the price to break out to the upside. Okay. So again, we're looking really good in that regard. Definitely like what I see. And I can tell you though that I don't foresee Bitcoin turning around or losing steam here at this point, just based on the significant amount of volume that we've seen in the last 12 hours alone. It's really awesome. So good stuff there. Last thing to note here on TD sequential, we look at here, we hit a 9, now we're going sideways. This is a perfect staircase pattern that I like to talk about. Price comes up and over, gives it a chance to leg up again. Okay. So again, if we get a good 12 to 24 more hours of consolidation at this price point, let TD sequential calm down, let some of the moving averages relax, RSI retract down to 50 again, we'll see a nice bullish continuation moving forward. But this is a perfect staircase pattern. I love to see the fact that we're over and up and we're continuing that continuation. It's really cool. So I literally see nothing adverse here for Bitcoin. I would say you can comfortably add to your position without the concern that the price is going to drop out tomorrow. But there is that one speculation, of course, based on the fact that the news is, who knows what happens with the regulations. Say they crack down really hard. Granted, it'll only affect the US, it's not impacting the world. it's still a big part of the market. So just recognize that, but I wouldn't say you want to pull all your cards out, pull everything out because of that one sentiment. That isn't necessarily going to break the bank per se. Now, if we are down on dire straits testing a key level support and then the bad news comes out, that's when problems happen. We have strength and volume going into the potential bad news, and that should not adversely impact us. All right. Just some things to think about. So hopefully you found benefit here today. We'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another Bitcoin update. And I think the likelihood again of it being kind of in this price range for the moment is fairly high, but I do think we should expect to see 44.5 tested again. Thanks again for joining me here. CryptoCache.tech is the website if you want to become a better trader. Link in the description below. I look forward to seeing you next video. Have yourself a great rest of your day. Thank you.